under a lot of pressure, and I certainly hope that something can be worked out here. But I want to shift the focus of attention for a moment towards the abutters. And having watched a lot of land use issues over the past few years, abutters can sometimes become very isolated. Everybody's looking at a big picture, and what I'm going to ask you to do is look at your own position. The property values, the property rights, the zoning bylaws, everything that we put forward actually protects all of your property. And when you do that, you're able to exchange property, you're able to buy it, you're able to enjoy it with the confidence that there's going to be a certain stability around you. When there's a drastic change to a condition or a situation, that causes problems for folks. And anybody here that is experiencing that, those of you who are not, ought to keep that in mind, because it could happen to you at any time. Now, there's two things that are affecting this property that are significant. One of them is an APR. The APR was an expressed intent of this town many years ago to preserve a piece of property for agricultural land. That is a pretty clear choice. That has to be addressed. Now, the second thing that has to be addressed is also the fact of zoning, which is perhaps more important. That's the use that's allowed in that district. So we know that the use that is allowed is agriculture. What's happening here is, and I'm not impugning any motives, but by the fact of flipping this APR, you're going to allow a commercial use to take place in an area that was not zoned for commercial use. Now, how that affects you is that at any given time that somebody can flip a particular piece of property or zoning use, you can wind up with some very interesting things next to your house. And I don't think you want to see that. What happens here is it's injecting uncertainty into our land use policy, and we need stability. This proposal needs more work. I urge you to reject it this time, and let's come back with something else. Thank you.
Ron? Creegan at the opposed microphone, please.
Rob Creegan, 16 Macquarie Lane. So I'm not a lawyer and I'm not a farmer, but I got a problem. My problem is you buy a piece of property for $650,000 that has 3 APRs on it, that if it didn't have those 3 APRs on it would be worth close to $2.5 million. So now we're going to let a developer pay us $175,000 for something that's worth $1.8 million. There are a lot of businessmen in this town, including myself, who would love a subsidy from the Westford taxpayers for $1.8 million. This is highway robbery of Westford taxpayers. If he wants to build a commercial development there, the price should not be $175,000. It should be $1.8 million. And we could use that $1.8 million, and we wouldn't need the override to give teachers a raise. Thank you, Madam Moderator.